If you've ever dealt with a narcissist, you know that you were not dealing with a human. You know that you were dealing with something that is not of this world. And I remember it like it was yesterday. It was Christmas time. And my husband was so mad because he did not want me celebrating Christmas. But I love Christmas. I idolize Christmas, but not as much as I used to. God has really been dealing with me about Christmas. And aside from that, he was extremely mad because I was celebrating Christmas. And I got him some gifts. And I figured, you know what? He's mad right now, but once he gets these gifts, he's going to turn around. So I'm sitting there and I got these gifts in my hand and I could feel his anger. I could feel him just seething with anger. And then all of a sudden, I look over at him and it was not him. It was a full blown demon. Now, with this particular video, I'm going to do visuals because I really want to show you what I saw to the best of my ability. Now, I'm seeing this demon. My entire body is just like, oh my gosh. You can imagine the fear that gripped me because that's not my husband sitting right there looking at me. I see a demon looking at me like it wants to destroy me. It wants to annihilate me. And it absolutely hated me. I felt it. And so I still walked over to my husband, y'all. I don't know. I still walked over to him, even though I knew it was a demon. And I had my gifts in my hand. And I still walked over there and I gave it to him. And all of a sudden, little by little, my husband's face started to come back. And then his whole countenance, everything about him shifted. And he accepted the gifts. And that's when I knew I'm dealing with something else here spiritually. This was around the time God was really starting to open up my eyes to Jezebel. Now, when I talk about Jezebel, y'all, I'm not talking about Queen Jezebel from the Bible. I'm talking about the spirit that was in Jezebel, okay? So when somebody's saying you have a Jezebel or you're the Jezebel, they're not saying you're literally Jezebel from the Bible. They're saying that same spirit that inhabited Jezebel is the same spirit that is inhabiting you, right? And then for many people, they just think you're a Jezebel if you throw on makeup and a wig and all. That's not Jezebel, okay? Many women wear makeup and wigs, and it's not a Jezebel spirit in them, okay? If you look online to know the traits, the characteristics, the behaviors of Jezebel, if you don't fit any of that, don't worry. You're not a Jezebel, okay? So God was beginning to open my eyes to Jezebel. Very calculated, very manipulative, very strategic, okay? The same thing Jezebel did in the Bible, there was the spirit in her that was using her. Because remember, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. And I really, truly try to drive this home. The man that you married, the woman that you married, your mother, your father, they are not your enemy. Okay? The world labels it narcissist, but it is truly a demon. Jesus makes it very clear. Okay? When he delivers you, right? When you get delivered from the demon and you go back into sin, okay? Because that demon's going to always try to come back. It's going to come back checking on you because it wants to come back in and rest in you. It lived in you at one point. Deliverance is real, y'all, okay? So when it comes back, it's looking to see, you've been reading your Bible? You staying true to God? Are you staying out of sin? Because if not, I'm going to be able to come back in, okay? This is why it's important. Once you choose Jesus, once you get delivered, you have to stay delivered. You have to maintain your deliverance, okay? And you know the devil don't want me talking about this, but I'm going to keep going because I don't fear him. And you can't fear him either. It's time for us to expose the devil, expose his lies, expose his tricks, expose his strategies. So many people are still in bondage to this Jezebel because they believe, oh, it's just a mental disorder. No, honey, it's a demon. It's a whole demon, okay? God revealed to me, my husband is in bondage. My husband is still in there. Your wife is still in there. Okay. Your husband is still in there. I'm going to do my best to show visuals, y'all. Okay. So y'all can see what I'm talking about. So I talked to my husband probably like 6 months ago, 7 months ago. He ended up calling me, or I called him. I can't remember. One thing led to another. We ended up getting upset with each other. And then he tells me, don't call me no more and don't text me no more. Right. And it wasn't him. It was the demon speaking through him. It was the demon that inhabited him, the same demon that I saw on Christmas Day that was looking at me like it wanted to destroy me was the same demon that spoke through him, because we're separated. So he got his place, I got my place, but we would still talk here and there. Okay. So for this particular conversation, he says, don't call me no more and don't text me no more. And it wasn't him. How do I know? God allowed me to see my husband. The demon was speaking through him. I saw the physical demon that inhabited him. Okay. My husband was inside. Y'all, I wish I could explain it, but I can't explain it in a way that I think would make sense. So I'm just going to show the visual. Although it was physically my husband, the demon that was possessing him controlled him. It controlled his mind, it controlled his will, and it controlled his emotions. So the demon is saying, don't call me no more and don't text me no more. But my husband was saying, please call me. Please text me. Y'all, when I tell you he was so weak, he was so weak. But you would never know, because the man that he showed everybody else was the man I wasn't getting at home. I was being mistreated at home because that was the demon, okay, doing that to me. And then when he would go out into the general public, oh, he's just a sweet guy. He's kind to everybody. The demon knew how to put on, okay? Because again, you got to stay masked up, right? And I'm sorry, y'all got my little accent, but they put that mask on, okay? My husband knew, God was letting me know, my husband knew he was in bondage. My husband knew that demon was inhabiting him. Even though they're demonically possessed, it does not mean they're out of their mind, okay? They know fully what they're doing, okay? And I know it's different levels of possession, different levels of demonic possession, because for King Nebuchadnezzar, he had the mind of an animal, okay? He was out there eating grass, his nails were long. So it's different levels to this, but the level my husband is at, he's not out of his mind. He knows that he needs to cry out to Jesus. He knows that he could be delivered if he really wanted to, okay? And I want to make it very, very clear, even though sunken place. So that's what's coming to me. Sunken place. He's in the sunken place, okay? And even though he's in the sunken place, Jesus can still meet him in that place. But it's going to come with confession. They have to confess what they've done. They have to repent. And Jesus can come in and set them free and deliver them. But they still have to maintain that deliverance. Just like we got to maintain ours, okay? It's no different. We're no better than them. And I want to make it very clear. We could have became that if we were abandoned, if we were neglected, if we were mistreated, if we got abused, right? In different ways. Because I don't think YouTube will let me say the S word. So sexually abused. Many of them have been sexually abused, okay? So we cannot tolerate them though. Because as long as that spirit is in them, as long as that Jezebel spirit, right? That narcissistic spirit, whatever you want to call it, it's a demon, okay? They're going to treat you the way the devil would. They're going to steal, kill, and destroy. That's their nature. They cannot love you. It's not possible for them to, because it's a demon. Your husband, your wife is still in there, but the demon has taken them over. And it can get to a point where they become reprobate, okay? Where God is just going to give them over to their lust, to their perversions, to their flesh. It is a choice. They have the same choice just like we did, because we had some stuff we had to get delivered from too, okay? I'm not perfect. I was disobedient. I was rebellious. I was full of pride. I was selfish, okay? I was cussing. So yeah, there were some things Jesus had to deliver me from too. Literal demons coming out of me. And that's why I said we're no different than a narcissist. We may not have done all the diabolical things they've done, but y'all, we've done some stuff. Let's just be real. We're not perfect, okay? So I just have to share. I have to share what I've been through. I have to share what I've seen, because I know it's going to reach somebody else. There was nothing you could do for them. There was no amount of praying, no amount of fasting you could do, okay, that was going to help them, because they have to want it for themselves too. You could have cried out to God and prayed on your knees until they turn red, and it was not going to change a thing. And that's why they still haven't changed today, because they don't want to. They don't want to confess. They don't want to admit what they did, because they're too ashamed. They're humiliated, okay? And some of you, you know exactly what they did. You know exactly what happened in their childhood, okay? And they got to confess that. They got to admit it, okay? So I pray this reaches who it's meant to reach. I'm just sharing what I've experienced. You don't have to believe it, but those that have truly encountered a narcissist, you're going to understand.